Jai Shrimad Narayan. Jai Shrimad Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvas. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Srimad Narayan. I welcome all of you here, physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those who are watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that are going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. Today we are discussing chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord Sri Krishna over 5,000 years ago whilst he was on this planet Earth. And last week I spent a lot of time on stating that all knowledge that is before us in this universe that comes from the Lord, transcendental knowledge, is for the 400,000 humanoid species. It's for man. It's for man. There are 8.4 million species of living entities, of which man comprises of 400,000. And this knowledge is for that 400,000 species of humanoid. Then I said, the Lord doesn't want you to get a PhD in a university to understand His message. The Lord does not want you to get a PhD. He does not need you to be highly intellectual or highly intelligent. He just wants you to be clean, morally and ethically. Clean, morally and ethically. That is your only qualification that you require to understand the Lord's message. His message is exact and precise. He appears in the Mahabharata, but his core message is in the Bhagavad Gita. And that core message is only 700 verses. Only 700 verses. What does that tell you? Why is his message clinical and contained in just 700 verses? Clinical and contained in only 700 verses. I said, man only needs to use reason and logic. The only requirement for man to understand God is to be ethically and morally neutralized or clean, and then use reason and logic. Ethically clean, reason and logic. So if God spoke in 700 verses, If God spoke in 700 verses, why you think his core message was in 700 verses? Why would he? He is your creator. He calibrated the mind, the intellect to absorb information. Why would he give you the most important message personally, himself, and in 700 verses? Why would he do it? What would be his reason? He appeared in the Mahabharata. How many verses in the Mahabharata? Please somebody Google how many verses in the Mahabharata. Do a fact check. As I said, all our discourses must be exciting both to you seated here and to our viewers on social media. As we move along the discourses, if we fact check everything that the Guru says, then you know you're listening to the truth. Because there are so many Gurus saying so many things about that same Bhagavad Gita, yes or no? So how would you know you're listening to the Guru who's given you the Bhagavad Gita as given by Lord Sri Krishna? You need to fact check. As you're watching this discourse, if you're on social media, you must have two phones. As the Guru is talking, fact check. Everything is on Google. All the information is on Google. As the Guru speaks, fact check. You are saying, Cameron? So the entire Mahabharata, in which Lord Sri Krishna appeared from cover to cover, has 100,000 verses. You think he could have spoken the Bhagavad Gita in another 100,000 verses? Easily, is it? But why he chose only 700 verses? Again, I said, let's use logic and common sense. Use logic, use common sense. He condensed 100,000 verses of the Mahabharata in, and every one of you is one or more characters in the Mahabharata. Each one of you. The Mahabharata did not miss one human character. And I don't see anyone who's Krishna or Arjuna. Subtracting Krishna and Arjuna, I see mostly Duryodhana. I see mostly, and Dhritarashtra, his father. Every one of you is a specimen of the Mahabharata. With one or many more of the characters from the Mahabharata. Look at how beautiful our Lord is. If you want to know who you are, in your own time, go read the Ram, go read the Mahabharata. Because Ram and his Mahabharata, Ram's Mahabharata, we don't have time in one lifetime. So Ram reached the original Mahabharata. The original Mahabharata. In every character you find 1%, 2%, write the name down. 5%, 8%, write the name down, and you'll find that you are properly mapped in the Mahabharata. Everyone, every human behavior that exists is in the Mahabharata. And then embedded in the Mahabharata, Lord Sri Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita, which contains all the characters of the Mahabharata. And you can choose in these 700 verses what you want to do. These 700 verses is not like a religion. In religion, they tell you, do this or that will happen to you. Do that or that will happen to you. And if you don't do this, then this will happen to you. That every religion. But the Lord, the Creator God, only advises you. The Bhagavad Gita is advice. Bhagavad Gita is advice. Right at the end, in chapter 18, Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, I have given you the knowledge, do as you please. What Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna? I've given you all this knowledge, do as you please. And I have run from my first satsang to date, my satsang in the same manner. Have I not? Away? Did I tell you which day to stop your chicken thighs? But I advised you. I advised you. And I continue to advise all my disciples, devotees, and family. I only give you advice. If I see you putting your hand in the fire, I'll advise you take it out. You're going to get burnt. I don't tell you, if you don't take your hand out of the fire, you can't come to my satsang. So did I ever tell anyone, if you don't listen to me, don't come to my satsang? Have I ever been involved in any type of indoctrination? Has Lord Sri Krishna ever been involved in indoctrination when he speaks the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita? All of you understand what the Guru is saying. So the reason the Bhagavad Gita is spoken in 700 verses is to make this handbook easy for you. If it was given to you in 100,000 verses, you can't open one page of an ordinary novel. Will you want to read 100,000 verses of God's instructions? I'm asking. But if it is in 700 pages, does it make it acceptable to you? Because I have stated this 1,000 times in over 100,000 verses myself. I said, when Jessica gets up every morning, the first thing she does is greet the Guru. After greeting the Guru, she recites the entire Mahabharata of 100,000 verses to Satish Bai and 20,000 verses from the Ramayana, the Upanishads. Then she go have a bath. Then she goes to court. And in court she recites the whole Vedas, all the Puranas, every Vedic literature, including the Smritis. So what is 700 verses? What is 700? Ajit Bhai, Bhabhi recite the Mahabharata every day to you? 100,000 verses, her own version? Yes. Right, so Ram, Bhabhi recite the Ramayana to you. And you know when they recite, they don't recite lovingly like Veda Vyas. Their recitation can make you quiet and fearful. Ajit Bhai? Now, this is a place of absolute truth. Ajit Bhai, don't cry. When Satish Bhai first came to the satsang, he had the same fear you had. See how bold and brave he is now. Ajit? Yeah, see, he can talk. Anytime the Mahabharata attack him, he can inform the Guru. Brave. Very brave. Alright? So 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita as little bite-sized verses. But behind the 700 verses is the 100,000 verses of the Mahabharata that's contained. And the Mahabharata contains the entire Vedas, the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, the Pancharatra, everything is inside it. So if you open the Mahabharata and you go from end to end, you cover it like in a story form. In a story form, because we are used to stories, aren't we? Nirali, you like stories? So that is the purpose of the Mahabharata. That is the purpose of the Mahabharata. But today we concentrate in on the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, and I said it's very, very important. Very, very important because it tells us right at the beginning who we are. And our biggest mistake as mankind is that we believe we are the body. Why do we make that mistake? Right from birth, is Marling and Sherwin telling Chanel she's a soul. So when Chanel grows up, what she thinks? My beautiful daughter, my nice daughter, my baby daughter, and how will Chanel grow up thinking what? She'll grow up thinking she's the body, because her parents grew up thinking they the body, and nobody in that growth told her you're not the body, you're not a girl, you're not an Indian, you're not a South African, you're not my child. Will anybody tell her? I think Marlene and Shawan will tell Chanel, you're not my child. You're a witness in the body of a child. So we inculcate in the mind of the children from birth, they are the body, yes? Then we'll give her a designation. She's an Indian body, and she's a South African body, and she's a female body. All these are designations we give in her. So when she grows up, what she's going to think? Okay. And this is where the problem lies. How can we fix it? How can we fix it? By coming to service, learning the truth, and teaching your children the absolute. So, just by saying we the soul, I believe that's where the problem is between gurus and disciples. I believe that's where the problem is between guru and disciple. We need, this is why I came back to chapter 2. We need to exhaust the understanding of the soul. We need to exhaust the understanding of the soul, because you only listen to the word soul whilst you're in satsang. As soon as you leave the gate, you become the body again. So what is the body made of, and what is the soul made of? We need to break it down, don't you think? Don't you think? So everything in this universe is a product of consciousness. And consciousness is part of the soul. Only if there is a soul, then there's consciousness. What is consciousness? Awareness. Consciousness is awareness. So everything in this universe is created from consciousness, which is awareness. And what is awareness? What is fundamental in everything? Energy. Everything is made up of energy. So from your soul emits consciousness. From consciousness emits energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So this body that we are driving currently is consciousness. As long as we believe that we are this body, we will be in material consciousness. Material consciousness, we will connect to everything material. We will connect to everything that is material, because we've been calibrated like that. When Lord Srimad Narayan gave the blueprint of a human body. When Lord Srimad Narayan gave the blueprint of a human body, calibrated in that human body is that when you believe you are the body, then all the senses fire, all the senses get activated. What are the senses? Sense of sight, touch, smell, taste, and hearing. These senses actuate your desires. These senses actuate your desires. Like on your windscreen, there's a sensor. As soon as water hits your windscreen, what happens to the wiper blade? Similarly, when your eyes and Ram's eyes really saw, when your eyes see, I don't know what Ram's eyes saw, but when you see Ram, what happened to desires? Look at that cake there, Ram. I don't know what you're thinking of. Ram, I don't know where you went, but I'm talking about simple, normal desires, all right? When you see something attractive, when you see something nice, what happens to the eye? What happens to your desires? When you eat, the first mechanism of eating, is it your mouth or your eye? Vasan is just food. He is gone beyond senses. You don't need to see. You don't need to see or taste. So these senses are embedded in the ethereal atmosphere. And it's embedded in you. And it's embedded in you through your five senses. You actuate your external desires. And as long as you are actuated externally, you are in material consciousness. You are in material consciousness because your actuation as a person is material. You've been activated. You have two functions as a human body. Only the human body has two functions. Only human body is calibrated with two functions, like the aircon, like the air conditioner. Air conditioner has a remote. It can work as a air conditioner and be very, very cold, or it can work as a heater and be very, very hot. Same air conditioner, same current going to the air conditioner from the same electricity device. Current is the same, but when the switch is on cold, the aircon will function as a cooler. And when the switch is on heat, it will function as a heater. Same unit, calibrated for twin purposes. And the human body is also calibrated for twin purposes. As long as you connect for external desire, whatever your eyes see, whatever your nose smells, whatever your mouth tastes, as long as it is external, you'll always be in material consciousness. Trisha, whatever Revlon, whatever powder, am I missing something? Am I from old school? Nirali, we from Pond Screen Man. Yeah, Snow White and Pond. Am I light years behind time, Nirali? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Yeah, Snow White. I remember Snow White.
How it's moving.
Beauty magic. You know, we need to go slowly in this discourse because we need to understand the switch. We need to understand you have two powers. We need to understand you have two powers. We need to understand, like the aircon, the current that's entering you is the same. It is where you are switched on. It is where you are switched on. So when you are switched on externally, you are in material consciousness because the object of your senses, the object of your senses are material. You can't see spirituality. Can you anyone see spirituality? You understand? So whatever you see is material. Even while doing the ashram, if you're looking at me, I am an object of the sense called the eye. Yes? Nirali, when she fights, makes big eyes at her opponent. But it is meaningless because we don't see with the eyes. It is only a lens. We see with the brains. And most of humans in Kali Yuga, brains are still in. Manufacturers packaging. Manufacturers packaging. In Kali Yuga, almost every brain is brand new at death. At death, what it means. Ajay Bhai, not used. Alright? So for actuating that brain, well, the brain is a hard drive. The mind is the software. Brain is the hard drive. Mind is the software. Same mind. Same mind can turn you to material consciousness, and the same mind can turn you to spiritual consciousness. Same mind. The same brain, which is a hard drive, can impel your actions within you, externally or internally. Externally or internally. And Lord Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, I am seated in the hearts of all. Lord Sri Krishna says, I am seated in the hearts of all. And in chapter 18, he says, he drives the human body like a machine. He drives the human body like a machine. So ultimately, the Lord is outside or inside. If you're looking for God outside, will you ever reach spiritual consciousness? Because all your senses that's outside only direct you to material consciousness. Spiritual consciousness means what? What does spiritual consciousness mean? Consciousness is consciousness. It's a power within your body. At the moment it's on, switched on to material. It is switched on to material because all your desires are external. It is outside. You're watching with your eye, you're listening with your ear, you're tasting things external, you're hearing things external. Now we want to turn the switch spiritual. In order to turn the switch spiritual, where must the senses project itself? Inside. Outside, material. Inside, spiritual. Then when we say inside, inside where? Your toe, your nose, your ear, your tongue, inside where? Then we need to find out what spiritual particle is seated inside us and where. Agreed? Because inside and outside can be material unless we find the spiritual particle. Because we're looking for what consciousness? Spiritual consciousness. We're already in material consciousness. Now we're looking specifically for spiritual consciousness. What in this body, where can we, is there knowledge somewhere? Is there knowledge somewhere that tells us and gives us a locality of the word spirit? What is spirit? Where is it located? And what is the function of that spirit? Is there information in this world? I said reason and logic together with Google and data. Don't go on Google and ask questions if you didn't put data. And say the Guru said. And say the Guru said. Alright? What is your data to get the correct knowledge? Ethics, morality, and right living. As you start living right, data starts a communication between you and your Creator. So your Creator created you with two functions: material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. Every body, every human body has that capacity. Every human body has that capacity to change from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness whilst you're in the same body. Trisha. And once you change from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness, don't go and tell people you are liberated. You can't be liberated while you're still in this material body. And there are many ashrams that lying to the devotees. You can attain. Who's trying to attack me? Cyber attack. Hmm? From the cons. Yeah, I shared this post. The cons went to Chinnajaya's ashram to show they are authentic. All right? That is a strategy. I think they had many meetings. They said, hey, let me show this Acharya, go in his own sampradaya. And just by mere association, as humans, we must have hospitality. Even if your enemy comes to your house, you bring your enemy in, you wash his feet, give him a cup of tea, treat him like a human being. In the Kurukshetra war, as I said, you don't have to go outside the Mahabharata for any example. Everything is there. So when they were fighting, the fighting hours was like office hours, 7:30 to 4. Right? 7:30 to 4, it was like office hours. When you come out of the field, the ore that you had your gun on, you were about to trigger, and the siren went off, work is over. You can hit a peer. Until 7 next morning. And then you plug in. But there's hours to plug in. You can't just plug in anytime. That is the ethics of war dictated by a creator. You think it's the right thing? So the cons can't out-con us. We know everything. You agree, Nirali? Can the cons con us? We found them out, so it means we can never be conned. Alright, so this is what they are trying. It's a marketing strategy, I think, Vasan. Just now you might see on Vasan's stickers there, food for life. They'll try and get through my disciple. Food for life. Aircons for life. Because we turned on the heat. Vasan, you carry on putting aircon for them, boy. Get a car track or sea track, let them put those cameras there. We can watch them. Okay, you understand? So, this body, let's look at the Guru's body. All right? I was a military man, I was a businessman, I was a politician. I spent many years in all aspects of law, besides being a judge. Jessica, although I'm sitting on the spiritual constitutional court at the moment, and you all know who the defendants are, right? We're giving judgment. But, so all of this was material consciousness, yes? Same person, and I was an atheist. How big material consciousness is that? Is that the highest? If you're an atheist in material consciousness? Hmm? And here I am seated for the past 13 years. I'm a spiritual master. I'm teaching spirituality. Did my heart change? Did my brains change? Did my lungs change? Only my beard. All right? And this beard only behaves on a Sunday. How it looks? Saintly. Hmm? Only at service. If you come any other time, this is the most horrible beard to have. But when I sit here at service on a Sunday, this beard becomes spiritual. It's a spiritual beard. All right? See me Monday to Saturday, same person, same hair follicles. This beard is in a disarray, complete disarray. See now it's white. Is it white? Yeah. Then it's a dirty brown. You know, like you never washed for days. Okay. But I'm the same person. I am the same person. I submitted to my guru. What I did? I submitted to my guru and I allowed him to switch my mind to spiritual consciousness. What did I do? I submitted. I left my chops, Ram. I left my chops. I left my pork sausages in the pub. Ram, where? In the pub. You know, in that warmer there, 3-4-day-old dirty pork sausages. You leave the nice mutton curry at home, and where you go? Pub, and eat the rotten fish cake and rotten pork chops. That is, I left all that which I used to enjoy, and I submitted to my guru. And when I landed at my guru's feet, the chops disappeared, all my money disappeared, our cars disappeared, and we had many months of brown bread and black tea. When those things disappeared, what else disappeared? All our external desires. When you start enjoying butter bread and black tea, with no sugar, butter bread, black tea, no sugar, 2 slices bread in the morning, 2 slices lunchtime, so you have to save your slices, and 2 slices for supper, and say, thank you, God, I know you exist. Thank you, God, I know you exist. then your consciousness will change from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness, because now you're traveling inside. You're not worried about this body's food. You're not interested in feeding this body. Now you're interested in feeding yourself. And what is the food for a soul? What is the basic food for a soul? Your breakfast for a soul is surrender to Guru. Breakfast is when you mentally surrender yourself to the Guru, your soul gets full. Your lunch for the soul, surrender to the Guru. And your supper for the soul is surrender to the Guru. That's all your soul needs to feed on. Your desire must be the bona fide instructions of your Guru. Shisha, what your desire must be? Bona fide instructions of your Guru. Guru say turn left, Nirali, where you must turn. No right, no up, no down. Although the right turn is looking hundreds and the left turn is looking daunting. When Guru say turn left, you turn left. That's all I did. That is all I did. I was entrapped and ensnared in material consciousness. Entrapped and ensnared. You know what was the name of my taxi? Big Boss. Front and back. Big Boss. And for Mataji's family, you know what I wrote on my bumper? Let's face it, you burning. Is that not steeped in materialism? And in the front, simply the best. Big Boss, let's face it, you burning, simply the best. Can you see that Bhagavad Gita? Can you see that Bhagavad Gita? So I'm coming from there. And I'm seated here. We had a fire at the ashram last night. And a lot of valuable things got burnt. How you think I saw it? I had a vision of a snake there. And I hate snakes. And I just saw God came and cleaned up our place. Now 4 more cars can park on top. Trisha, don't have to park down. Well, Trisha got used to luxury cars. What do you think where her senses are? Trisha, the day I see you going in the oldest car, then I know you made a spiritual change. She just waits for Vasan to come satsang. Vasan gets so happy when Trisha greets him. He thinks it's out of love. Vasan, what name Guru gave you, Vasan? Hmm? No, not a nice name. Mm-hmm. Lover boy. All right, lover man. Vasan, don't think she's greeting you because of that title. Such a great, it's the Lexus, Vasan. It's the Lexus. All right? So you understand, this is why I'm saying, before we delve very deeply into the Bhagavad Gita, we need to understand why we are going. And we need to understand how we're going to travel through the Bhagavad Gita. And I would like at least 50% of you that's here live to change with each discourse. Or try and make a change. You know, Shravan and I were discussing spirituality last night. After Chanel was born, Shravan is born deep with knowledge. I think Chanel, Lord Narayan sent some knowledge for the father through the daughter. Spirituality has to be lived. Spirituality has to be lived. I can't demonstrate spirituality to you. I have to live spirituality. And you have to actuate yourself spiritually. How many of you came to this ashram in the past 13 years and found me there by Lord Narayan making Om, 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 Om. If I'm already spiritual, what is the need for me to go there and make Om, 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 Om? Do you understand? Are you understanding? If I am saying I am your spiritual master, I must be practically spiritual all the time. I don't have to do anything external to be spiritual, because spirituality is internalized. I must bow down to the Supreme Lord in my mind. I must meditate to the Supreme Lord internally. Internally. That is why you never come to this ashram and find me in any outward ritualistic behavior. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that because they use to the Om Swaha. You know, if I start doing Havan here, Vasan have to put an extension fast in the back, extraction fans, just by me throwing an Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Do you know that? But that Om Swaha is to keep you external. Om Swaha is to keep you externally desired. And spirituality with transcendental knowledge is to keep you internally desired. The desire must still be there. Your desire must still be there. But now you take the rays of your mind. When your desire is material, the rays of your mind is scattered. Yes? The rays of your mind, when you are in material consciousness, is scattered. When your desire is your creator, the rays of your mind is pointed and focused on one entity. It's no longer scattered. And that is why you become peaceful. When your desire, when your mind is scattered, you have no peace. Yes? When you're thinking, hey, tomorrow my mortuary is empty, I don't have a chicken. We don't use the word fridge. We've been technical. Where you keep dead bodies. So everyone has a mortuary in their house. Nothing, no chicken inside. Ram, no sheephead inside. The mind starts scattered. Hey, today you got your chops. Instead of appreciating your chop you got today, Ram, you thinking, hey, what you saw in the fridge, the empty mortuary, and because your mind is scattered, how many things you thinking? How many things you are thinking? But if your mind is surrendered at the feet of the Guru, all your thoughts is where? Don't worry, my Guru will sort it out. Why can't you be peaceful? What takes away your peace? A scattered mind. And what gives you back your peace? A focus. A one-pointed focus, mind. Ram, see here? How many pointed? One-pointed focus. Because Lord Sri Krishna says in the Shrimad Bhagavatam two things. Ram, this is for you. This is for you. Next week I'll read out the verses. Lord Sri Krishna in Canto 11 of the Srimad Bhagavatam states two things. He says the Acharya is the sum total of all the Devis and Devas. Here nicely. Who saying this? Who is Lord Sri Krishna? He is the eighth avatar of Lord Srimad Narayan, and he is saying the Acharya is the sum total of all the Devis and Devatas. And then he says in the same verse, the Acharya is none other than myself. Ram, can you put your mind on this verse? The Acharya is the sum total of all the Devis and Devatas. And that Acharya is none other than myself. What does that verse conclude? Ram, what that verse is telling you. That when you surrender to the Acharya, you surrender to all the Devis and Devtas, because all the Devis and Devtas is contained within that Acharya. And when you surrender to the Acharya, the Supreme Lord is contained within the Acharya, and the Acharya is contained within the Supreme Lord. So one pointed surrender, you covered everything. Ram. So you remind me of a person today that will go to Martin West and stand in a long line of 400 people from the outside, go inside and pay your light account. Then you'll go and stand outside the bank, long line, to go pay your bond. Then you'll stand in a long line, and if you got 10 accounts, Ram will spend maybe 2 days paying his account. While Satish Bhai will just take out his phone. He say, just spades. Are we paying the full bond or we chopping a percentage? Are we paying the full car or we chopping a percentage? Then SARS have to tell him, and then he'll pay. His bond is 5,000, he paid 4,500. His car is 3,000, he paid 2,500. Without a sweat. Without a sweat, he paid all his accounts, plus he robbed the people, because the phone won't ask him, hey, why you paid 500 short. But Ram will go to the teller will tell him, your lights this month is 3,750. How much you pay? And Ram has to pay the full thing. Yes? And you see, Ram, what you are doing in life, practically. Ram, can you see? And what Satish is doing practically. And that is the difference in your life and Satish. Because Satish Bhai, he defied his mother, which was, a mother is very, very great, any living entity, yes or no? Satish Bhai went to the length of defying his mother's rituals, coming out of his mother's system and following the Guru 100%. While she was alive, he didn't wait for her to leave and then come and say, Guru, I'm following. Satish Bhai can make top road and top soji and top, you know that dry powder. Was that? Panchvi. Satish Bhai was groomed in all that. And he walked out and he said, I'm following my Guru. He walked out and he said, I'm following my Guru. I'll respect you as my mother. I'll involve myself practically in whatever you want me for every prayer of yours, but don't ask me to perform any ritual. That is what the Bhagavad Gita is all about. That is what Lord Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna. Leave your family, leave your tradition, leave your following, and simply follow me. And in chapter 4, verse 34, he says, follow me through a bona fide spiritual master. And if you don't listen to the big old Ram who made you, if you don't listen to the Creator God and you create your own ways of worship, what will the Creator do to you, Rambai? Hey, Ram. Ram. And where I am confused with Ram is in the 24 hours. He was the only person to see Lord Shrimad. Others felt he saw, but he still can't submit fully. He still can't submit fully. This is why I got a handful of devotees, because I want to shape you. I want to shape you. I want to show you to the world that our scriptures is right. I didn't look for devotees that were already karma free. I want devotees with karma. Then I want to run them through the mincing machine of the Bhagavad Gita. Hear me again. I want to find devotees with karma and I want to push them to the mincing machine of the Bhagavad Gita. Ram, you thinking? Ram knows me mincing all. I'm in his zone. I'm in his consciousness. And we want you to come out a beautiful sausage on the other side. Ram.
Vegetarian.
But vegetarian, not pork sausage. When we push you this side, you everything, ram, goat, pork, chicken. But when you come out that side, you soya. That is what the Bhagavad Gita is about. You have to be minced. Ram, we have to mince you. For Ram, we'll need a high technology laser mincing machine. The old blades will break if I push Ram through it. Ram, you will need a laser mincing machine. All of you understand? Don't come to this satsang thinking the journey is easy. It is a long, hard, beautiful journey because the guarantee is there. This bus, you know the driver. Rambai. In this bus, you know the driver. If you and Bobby have to take a bus to Joburg, intercity, and Avil, moaning, groaning, went and left you all at Durban station. Why they never ask other sisters' husband, always asking me. I had to get up in the morning and leave them there. Ram, will you go to the bus driver and ask him, please, give me your ID, I want to run it to the computer and see how many accidents you made, how many wives you got, whether you read the Bhagavad Gita. Are you an undocumented foreigner? Ram? Will you do that? You just sit in the bus and you take it for granted. He's going to drop you off in Joburg. Yes, the Guru. Guru gave you all his qualifications and he's telling you this journey is accident free. Guaranteed at the end of this journey, you will reach Joburg 100% safe. All right, again, my time has expired, but I'm not too worried about it because you need to know the journey you are taking. If you are here with me, then your journey is inward. Journey is inward. And in Sanatana Dharma, there's a very good phrase. They say you must live like the lotus. Nirali, what do they mean when they say you must live like the lotus? You and Trisha, secretary and deputy secretary. I see they scratch each other's back on WhatsApp groups. They sharp because they belong to the same cosmetic. The same cosmetic firm. They spend 90% of the time sending each other catalogs. What do they mean? You must live like a lotus. Where you find the lotus? Dirty, infested water. Does the lotus ever get touched by the dirty water? Unless in a flood, but I'm saying in its normal life. Is it meant to be touched by the dirty water? But where's its roots? Dead frogs, dead crabs, maybe a human dead body somebody dumped. You know, watching the Matlanga Commission, also they threw one body in the river. Witness B. And then he became witness dead. Nirali and Tisha, I'm talking to your lotuses. Imagine if you all two had to put snorkels and somebody dumped your head at the root of the lotus. What a smell! And my two lotuses are so quiet. So this is how we need to live as a spiritual human being. Although you are immersed in the filth of material contamination, we're living in this material world. We can't come out of this material world, but don't let our spirituality touch the Revlon. Trisha, don't let our spirituality touch the Revlon. Everything in this material universe is for your evolution. See, our two Wendy houses got burned. It's for the ashram's evolution. Now that corner is going to be sorted out. It's going to be beautified. We had to lose to gain. There were many engine parts there. A lot of money got burned. But we have to lose to gain. Similarly, all of us as human beings, gain means evolve. Karma is not a bad thing. Karma is evolution of the human body when you eat. That is what karma is. Karma is not here to punish you. There is no punishment and reward in Sanatana Dharma. There is only evolution. There is only evolution. See, the shack burnt. What do you think I gave gratitude for first? My boy came out unscathed. Alright? And he just came from the farm. His English is constrained. He said, "Boss, I feel hot." Then I take out blanket. Then I feel hot. Then I take out t-shirt. Then I feel more hot. I open door. I see fire. Joke, right? He just got up and he ran for his life. Alright? So that's how we have to look at life. No matter how big, what the material cost was, my boy is spiritual. Does he have a spiritual soul in him? Do I have to thank God 1,000,000 times for not harming him, as opposed to the material value of what we lost? So every part. So you think that was my karma? As a guru, I have to have karma. If any guru tells you he doesn't have karma, then something is wrong. Because if you don't have karma, karma is your visa for the material universe. If you don't have karma, you're supposed to be holding Lord Narayan's hand in Vaikuntha. Every guru must have karma. And before I die, because gurus, bona fide gurus are eternal, to come back, what I must have? Nirali. So maybe I'll use you as my karma. I'll do something wrong. I'll teach Nirali a wrong teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, so I can be cursed and brought back to earth. Even when Lord Krishna comes, he comes through. Even when Lord Ram comes, he comes through, because you must have karma to enter the material universe, and the material universe is only made with karma, nothing else. The energy of the material universe is karma. The entire energy of this universe is karma. Whatever you go through, Shravan's karma. You all heard? Announced itself whilst I was talking karma. She's spending a lot of time with Ajaha. I carried her for 1.5 hours on the beach this morning whilst they were in a meeting. And just now she's going to start talking. And I said, the first sentence I'm going to teach her is, "Dad, give Aja 1,000 rand now." And then I'll teach her to cry if he doesn't do it. I'll show her the physical money, and I'll also show her the bank transfer. If you don't, the app, if the money is not transferred, you don't see 1,000 rand. She must hold her hair, pull her hair, and cry, "Dad, give Aja 1,000. That is Shravan's karma. When Shravan troubled me for 15 years, for me not to be angry, I had to devise a plan. And in those 15 years, I said, "Hey, when you have a child, I'm going to teach the child everything opposite you." See, Shravan is worried now. What my father will do And baby already knows the grandfather, already befriended her. She knows what the grandfather said must be complied with. So this is our karma. But I'm saying all of this with love. Every child you got is you. Don't say, God, what kind child you sent me? You know our Indians especially. God, what kind child you sent me? What kind God you are? No, you ordered that child right down to the last speck. Right down to the last speck. God is meticulous and He sends it properly, packaged neatly, tidily. Everything is 100%. When God sends your package that you ordered, it's never a mistake. It's never a mistake. But from that child is sent there for you and you and you to evolve. For whose evolution? For the child's evolution and your evolution. If and when you surrender. Look at how beautiful our Creator is. He gave you a get out of jail card, Nirali, with the Guru's face on that card. Jai Shrimad.